To stop avoiding the problems and the issues that are stopping you from taking the trips that you want to take or just doing the things that you want to do in life in general, this video is for you. Make sure that you stay tuned to the end because I'm going to be giving you some tips on exactly how you can stop avoiding your problems and you can solve every problem, whether it comes to life or whether it comes to your trips. My name is Inez. I am a life and travel coach, and I help Black women confidently take the trips that they want and the trips that they need. Okay, so right now in my life, there's a lot going on, but one of the biggest things that I'm trying to achieve is I want to be able to go on a trip to Bali with my best friend for her 40th birthday in about 6 weeks. I am trying to secure $50,000 in funding for my real estate business. And then I also am growing my YouTube channel. So here I am. And these are things that I'm really focused on right now. There's a lot of problems that are coming up in all of these areas. And so I wanted to come and share some of the things that I've been doing in order to overcome these problems. The biggest thing that I've noticed during this time is that, I can get really overwhelmed. And I'm sure if you're somebody who has experienced the feelings of wanting to achieve something, like having a goal that you really want to happen and then going after it and feeling like everything is falling around you or every problem possible is showing up, then you fully understand, right? You start feeling the feelings of fear or doubt, and then that leads to overwhelm. And a lot of times, what we do is we will suppress those feelings, right? We will try to avoid them because they're hard, right? I mean, I will say, I feel like I have been suppressing some of my feelings over the last couple of days, and I couldn't even put my finger on exactly what the feeling was. But I realize right now that it's worry. But it's almost like the thing that you're suppressing it because you feel like if you look at it, it will break you, right? There's this feeling of, doubt. And it's like if you look at just how much you doubt yourself, it's going to break you. For me, it's like I have this feeling of worry, that things aren't going to work out the way I want them to. And if I look at the worry, I feel like it's going to tear me down. I'm going to spiral out. So I'm trying to avoid looking at the worry, right? But the avoidance isn't helping, right? It's not getting me any closer to the thing that I want, to the things that I want, right? So what I realized today, literally tonight, was I have to take off the avoidance cap and I have to put on my problem solving cap and get to tackling each of these things, right? The overthinking is not helping. The worrying is not helping. Your doubting is not helping. Your fear is not helping. Avoiding any of these things is not going to help you get any closer to what you want. And so, what I found is like really just addressing it head on is what will help and will help you to get to the goal that you want to achieve. So, I'm going to tell you here are some of the things that I am doing to solve the problems, right, that are showing up. So, one of the biggest problems that I run into with planning my trip to Bali is I initially didn't have a lot of time to focus on it. So I was like, I'm a true believer. And if you don't have the time to do something, outsource it. Like if it's really just a matter of you don't have the time to do a task, right? And there's not the emotions around or the judgment around whether you should be doing or you shouldn't do it or additional things that are blocking then you should be able to just tackle it, right? So a lot of times I say, I just put a post on Facebook and I was asking like, if you are somebody who wants to travel more and the planning overwhelms you, why aren't you using a travel agent? Like, why haven't you just reached out to a travel agent, right? Because that is a way of outsourcing it. So I decided I wanted to use a travel agent to plan Bali. But I did still spend some time um, creating the trip on my own because that's what I do, and kind of sent her the information about what we wanted to do. But one of the issues that I'm running into, just personally, is that because I travel so often and because I've planned so much, I know significantly more than my agent does. So I'm kind of guiding her, and also I'm used to getting I'm used to getting the results quickly, right? Having the internet, it's like I can go to Google, I can go to Kayak, I can go to Culture Trip, I can go to all these other places in order to be able to just plan my trip and get it done. And I feel like there's a delayed process in working with the agent. But at the end of the day, like, I decided to go this route. So, you know, that is one of the problems that has showed up for me is just the delay of that. And one of the things that I'm doing in order to be able to, just solve that problem is just acknowledge the fact that I'm kind of frustrated, right? That I'm kind of aggravated that it's taking longer than I would like, but also reminding myself that this was a purposeful decision that I made in order to open up my time in doing this and be able to use that time for other things, right? So it may not go as fast as I want, but as long as I get to the result that I want, then it's all good. So this is the first thing that I want you to do whenever you're trying to solve your problems as opposed to avoid them is to acknowledge your feelings. Like if you feel disappointed, if you feel frustrated, if you feel fearful, whatever you feel, acknowledge the feelings, right? And then remind yourself of where you're going, right? Sometimes we lose sight of the vision. Earlier today, I had to reread my Inez 2.0 because I'm doing some identity shifting into full-time entrepreneurship. So I had to reread it and say, this is where you're going, right? Even in the midst of all of these things that are happening, this is where you're going. If you're planning a trip, like remind yourself, this is where you're going. This is what you want. This is the experience that you're moving toward. And even in the midst of these problems, the vision has not died. The vision is still there for a purpose. So remind yourself, so acknowledge your feelings and then remind yourself where you are going. Another thing that we've been working on is trying to get the credit we need for our real estate investing. And so we went and tried to get some credit today from a specific bank and was denied. And I was really upset because I was really looking forward to like building up our business credit and A, B, or C. And I actually do have good scores. So I was just like, I don't even know what's going on here. But, one of the things that I did in that moment, and this is the third thing that I want you to do when you are moving towards solving every problem, is just finding evidence that you can do this, right? Finding evidence that, it's possible to still do even in the midst of the problems. It's still possible, whether it's other people that you see who are doing it, whether it's the fact that for me, it's leaning into my identity of like, I am a problem solver, and the first no does not mean the door is closed. It just means the door is closed for this one place and I just need to go find the next door, right? So that's the third thing that you need to do is find evidence that you can do it. And the fourth thing is realize that all of the problems and all of the obstacles that you are encountering are just questions, right? An obstacle is just a question. So realize that it's just a question, and the next step is to answer the question. So after you confirm that you can do this, answer the question in your mind, right? For me, it was just like, okay, so how are we going to get credit, right? And answering the question, right? Or what are my options? And answering the question, like actually going through and saying, these are the options. And I was able to come up with another option, and it's not what I want to do, but it's not impossible, and it is very possible for it to get us to the finish line, which is where we want to be for this. So step number 4, right? Am I on step number 4? Yeah, step number 4 is answer the question in your mind. If the obstacle comes up, like, you're planning a trip, I don't have the money, change that into a question. How am I going to get the money? Where am I going to get the money? What are my options? And then answer the question, right? The other thing was, so with all of the things going on in my life right now, I'm finding it hard to be consistent in some of the ways in my business that I want to be, right? One of the things that I have been doing over the last week is staying consistent on YouTube and wanting to upload a video every day, like be able to provide value every day, because my goal is inevitably to be able to monetize my YouTube channel, but also to be able to share and serve people in this manner, and put out good content and get more comfortable with it. and be a full-time YouTuber. And if I'm a full-time YouTuber, then that means I'm doing YouTube every day, right? And so, but the life obstacles have just been like one after the other, the other. And right now it is 11:36 p.m. And I sit in front of you right now because of the next step that I did, and that I suggest you do when you are trying to overcome the obstacles, push through the problems, and solve them. And that is do it scared, do it uncomfortable, and do it messy. I am in my pajamas right now, child. Y'all don't even, I mean, if you see any of my other videos, y'all know I do not be here. Y'all know I do not be here in the pajamas. But I'm in my pajamas because I got out of the bed after I read my Inez 2.0 and reminded myself where I'm going and who I'm becoming. And I was like, do it anyway, right? Even though I'm frustrated that I didn't get to do it at the time that I wanted to do it today, do it anyway. Even though I'm already in the bed in my pajamas and I'm thinking about how I'm aggravated that, my day just did not go the way I expected it to, I'm doing it anyway. At 11:40 p.m., I'm doing it because I said I was going to show up every day. And if I got to show up in my pajamas with my little hair looking like whatever, with no earrings, I'm still showing up. So do it scared, right? Whatever it is that your answer is. For me in the moment, it was like, all right, like I could just go do a video right now. Like I have something to talk about. Let me just share what I'm going through right now, right? And it's a bit uncomfortable for me to be here in this little cutoff as my husband, but I'm here anyway. And I'm showing up and I'm doing it messy. So that's the next thing. Step number 5 is do it messy. Allow yourself to do it messy. Allow yourself to learn along the way. The next thing is trust that you're being guided the whole way. So even when you try something out and it doesn't work, right? You answer your question, you try to implement whatever you answered for planning your trip. So maybe you're thinking like, how am I going to save the money? And maybe you started trying to put some money away and something came up and you need to spend some money. Like, don't get discouraged. Trust that maybe that's not the answer, but you're being guided to the answer every day. And just listening to your intuition, like what is the next option, and going after that as well, right? That's what we'll be doing on our credit journey, right? And that's also what I'm going to be doing with Bali. Like if it ends up being that I end up planning this trip and we just book it ourselves because it may be taking a bit too long, then that's fine. Maybe the agent wasn't the option for this trip. But like this is the last step, keep going, right? Trust that you're being guided and keep going, right? I love to tell my clients, solve every problem you encounter. Every problem. That means that even after you feel like you've solved one, another one probably will show up. Solve that one too. And then another one will show up. Solve that one too. That's the way that you get to your trips. That's the way you end up taking the trips you want to take. That's the way you build your confidence that you can do this. That is the way that you create evidence in your brain that it's possible for you and that you can do it for yourself, right? And it's huge because you build this being, you become more proud of yourself, right? Right now, I am proud of myself. I am so proud of myself for showing up today. I don't even know, but me sitting here and being proud of myself in this moment is even further evidence that I am becoming who I want to be, that I'm getting closer to where I want to be. So in those moments where you don't give up, right, and you keep solving the problems and you keep moving forward, you are building more evidence, you are building a pride in yourself, you are building a confidence, and that's where you want to get to, right? Because when you end up on the airplane and you are sitting there waiting to take off and you think back over all the obstacles that were in the way and that could have led you to not being in that seat, and you decided to solve every one of them, right? That's the moment that you're waiting for, right? You get to your destination and you're relaxing, and the vision that you had in your mind of the trip you want to take is now a reality. That's the place that you're trying to get to. So again, we talked about 5 different things to do to solve every problem, right? All of the problems that you're encountering that are keeping you from your trips, but that are also keeping you from just the things you want to do in life, right? Acknowledging your feelings, reminding yourself where you're going, finding evidence that you can do it, answering the questions that come in your mind, right? Do it scared, do it uncomfortable, and do it messy. Trust that you're being guided along the way and keep going. Okay, I hope this video was helpful for you all. Drop a comment below and let me know what was your biggest takeaway. If you want access to more of this kind of content, please let me know. Let me know what you all want me to cover as well. There is a link in the description. If you are someone who is trying to plan a trip and there's a lot of life obstacles coming up, and you feel unconfident and you don't have a resource or someone to hold you accountable and help guide you, I can do that for you. So make sure you click the link in my description and schedule a one-on-one call with me. I would love to talk to you about like just what's stopping you, what's in your way, what's working, what's not working, and how we can work together in order to get you on the trip you want or that you need. So in addition to that, make sure that you subscribe. I mean, if you like this video, then I know that you are one of my people. So make sure that you give me a like, right? Subscribe to my channel so that you can get more access to information on how you can transform your life through travel. And follow me on Instagram at International Inez if you want to see more of me figuring it out, right? Making it to the trips that I'm trying to get to and just making it in life. I look forward to seeing you there. Until we meet again, stay tripping.